AITA, for telling my family to go to hell and going no contact after years of them abusing and later ghosting me. The author of the post is listed in the description. So, I'm a 35 IO female living quite a comfortable life now thanks to myself and only myself. I come from a very conservative family dominated by males. My grandparents had 2 daughters, my mom and my aunt and my 7 uncles, from a country where Catholic values are deeply engraved in people's minds and souls. As a girl, I was always looked down upon, kept on a tight leash. I was supposed to be seen but not heard, be polite and subservient towards everyone, be pretty and girly, the works. That never sat well with me. I was that pants and mud type of a girl, not the Barbie doll everyone expected me to be. Thanks to that, I spent most of my childhood days grounded in my room, and till this day, I refuse to have an ironing machine at home. Shortly before my 16th birthday was my tipping point. Things I do not wish to disclose happen, and I decided to simply vanish into thin air. Next 12 years were, let's just say that it wasn't the most honorable time of my life, but I managed. By the age of 23, I bought my first house without any mortgage, credits, nothing, hard cash. Since it was a time when I was working at a club and also sleeping there, I decided to rent the house out. Extra income never hurt anybody. Besides, I didn't plan on working in a club forever. I enrolled myself in online classes, finished high school, and thought that it was a good time to go back home and show everyone that I can actually make something out of myself. That didn't go as I thought it would. There was a lot of harsh words. Things got pretty ugly pretty quickly, and let's say that I had to take about a month or so off work to physically recover from the family reunion. My then boss's wife, bless the lady's heart, was and is a gentle, loving soul, so I stayed at their place during my recovery. That's when I decided that it's not worth the hassle and heartache trying to win my family over. I changed my legal name, phone number, email, deleted everything connected to my past, and flipped my life around. Despite my profession back then, I had a way of getting along with older folks. They liked peace and quiet, and so did I. By the age of 28, while still working at the club and privately, I got my nursing degree and elderly care certification. I'm not from US, so it might be different, and owned 3 rental houses. Around the age of 29, I got a job as a live-in nurse caretaker for an elderly couple in Switzerland, and been doing that till this day, jumping between Germany and Switzerland as a live-in nurse. Pay is pretty good. I have no living expenses, got the rental houses as additional income, and life is great. Last year, I was able to make my biggest dream come true. I was able to buy a building with 20 flats. Don't get me wrong, it's not a high-rise or anything. It's not USA where I come from. The building has 5 stories. Each has 4 flats. Nothing fancy, but I was happy. My idea was to rent out the flats at minimum rent possible for those in need, folks that need a safe place to stay while getting their life back on track. And everything was going good till last Thursday. I have an agency responsible for renting out the flats and interviewing with people interested in living there. I sit on every single one of them personally or online, 'cause I want to be able to see and get to know my future tenants. Boy, was I surprised when I saw that the people who were on the online meeting were none other than my parents. At that point, I saw red. Told the agent that hell freezes over and starts burn out before any of them step a foot onto my property. I then told my parents to go to hell and never come back, or I'll put them in prison for the rest of their lives for what they did to me in the past if they ever try to contact me in any way, shape, or form. So, AITA for telling my parents to go to hell without even bothering to hear them out. Comments before update. Commenter: how could you possibly be Tia in this situation? Oop. Well, since Thursday, I received countless phone calls from extended family, how I've brought shame to the family with my past actions and I should repent for my sins by helping my family. They got my number from the real estate agent. All my potential and current tenants have it just in case something comes up. And yeah. Commenter: I'm sorry the real estate agent gave out your number. That wasn't cool of them, but maybe they didn't know the situation. You know you've not done anything wrong, and family members hassling you is just an extension of the same bullshit you had to put up with when you were younger, yeah? Sounds like they're looking for a handout? Oop. Well, my number is to give out to potential tenants and current ones also. The flats. It's nothing fancy, but it's a place for people who are down on life and are rebuilding everything from nothing. Sometimes unexpected things pop up and I want them to be able to contact me in case of any emergency. Like I said, I changed my legal name so the agent had no way of knowing that we're related, and besides, he doesn't know about the past. Update. 6 days later, so looks like no matter how one tries to keep the past in the past, it always finds a way to hunt one down. With me, it took a form of my parents forcing themselves into my life. Literally forcing. Like I mentioned in my original post, I work as a live-in nurse, caretaker for the elderly, and jump between Germany and Switzerland for work. Until Friday, I was at work in Germany. But that changed drastically in a matter of hours after quite a few phone calls I received from my tenants. Turns out that my parents broke into one of the empty apartment units. This is actually an issue, and a big one. Country where I come from, we have a law that actually prohibits all and any evictions between the 1st of October and the 31st of March. And you also can't evict elderly people on disability and those that live with them. Due to the nature of my country, breaking and entering or illegal squatting is also off the table to get them out of my property. I was back in my country Saturday morning due to this. But what I didn't expect was a letter from the court in my mailbox stating that my parents are suing me for alimony. Yeah, lovely circumstances. After reading this, I actually flew into a rage, and the only reason why I'm actually able to get this BS off my chest is thanks to my lovely tenants, Robert and Anna. Robert was the one who physically stopped me from breaking down the doors to the flat that my parents took over, and Anna with her doggo Aries are total pros at calming your nerves. Who can resist a goofball golden retriever? Guys, you need to understand something here. I despise my parents to the core. Every single molecule of my body emanates pure and unfiltered hatred towards them. Endless tirades of hate spewing from my mother's mouth at each and every single tiniest mishap. Room being reduced to nothing but my bed, desk, and a chair. Nothing else. No curtains, lamps, bed sheets, toys. Nothing for the smallest mistake. Till this day, I have a few marks on my back after my father's lesson on respect. They're not big, but they will stay with me till the end. Iron Machine's wet cord is no joke. The day of my 16th birthday and their indifference to my two uncles introducing me to my adult life. After which, I decided that enough was enough. The month it took for me to get back into shape after I went back to show them that I actually made something good out of myself. There were many more. I just don't know what to do, what to feel, think. Anger, sadness, frustrated, disappointment, fear, helplessness. I finally started to make my biggest dream come true, and now those two toxic waste specimens decided to ruin my dream and drag me down to a point where I just wanna. I'm sorry, guys. It's just so much. Edit to cut all and every single speculation about the country. It's Poland. Be my guest to fact-check the child-to-parent alimony and eviction bans during the winter season. Comments. Commenter. You can't evict people who break into your property in the country you're from? With of a country is that? Sorry for you. Op, I did read your original post, and damn, life gave you bitter cards to play on your hand. And yet you managed and fought your way into life hard. Much respect for you. Oop. Yeah, sick and twisted situation. Unfortunately, during the winter season, it's forbidden unless as a landlord I'm able to provide them with a different place to stay for which I would have to pay myself. I don't want to do it for two reasons. One, out of principle. Two, I'm being sued for alimony and I don't know how it works. Gonna find out tomorrow after I meet up with a lawyer, but I don't want to risk that the court will see this as me being willing to help them. Heil to the never in a million years. Commenter. I 100% understand you, but you might have to prepare yourself mentally that there's a chance they'll get you with the alimony. Fingers crossed that they won't get 1 single cent from you. And may your uncles face punishment in either life or afterlife. Oop. Well, Tuesday, I have a meeting with my former boss and his wife. They know what my relationship with my parents looked like and were the ones that took care of me after my trip home. Planning on talking with them if they would be willing to testify in court. Sure as hell I'm not going to go down without a fight. Update, 3 days later. I'm seriously done with everything. The amount of hatred someone can have for another human being who did nothing wrong to them except being born simply can't be described by any words I know. I gotta get this out of my system before I'll go completely nuts or break down again. My parents were monsters. Picture-perfect family that raised hell behind closed doors. I know what it feels like having your room stripped off of everything as a child, being beaten up with a belt or a cable to a point where it leaves permanent scars on your back. Half of your side sliced open with a broken plate after your mother gets into a fit of rage. Why? 'Cause that damn plate fell out of your hands due to exhaustion after 30H plus being forced to stay awake. Oh, let's not forget about the 20 cm burn scar on my arm. Even now you can tell where the front and where the back of the ironing machine was. The dress wasn't ironed perfect enough. The indifference to what my uncles did. Almost 20 years. I've managed to put that behind me. I've learned to look at those scars as a reminder of how far I've managed to get away from hell, but hell always catches up. Doesn't matter how far you will run away. It always comes back to hunt you. Always. I'm sorry for the rant, but I did nothing except sleeping and crying recently. I had my appointment with my lawyers on Monday. We went with the police to get my parents out of the apartment. Turns out that tenant eviction during wintertime is illegal, same as evicting elderly or PPL with only Social Security. All of the above applied to my parents. But they were not tenants and could be forcefully removed from the building by the police. That didn't go well. I don't have a father anymore, and my mother got arrested. When I arrived with the police and my lawyers in tow to get them out of my property, things got ugly, and I mean really ugly. My father, hope he burns in hell for the rest of eternity, got worked up and whatever over the situation and got a heart attack. Died probably immediately. He literally just dropped to the floor and never got up. My mother, the raging lunatic she was and is, had one of her rage attacks and decided that since it's my fault that her husband is dead, I should share his fate. Before the police was able to cuff her, she managed to leave me her final parting gift. Another damn scar on my leg. I don't care that the sperm donor is dead, I'm actually glad. I don't care that the psycho I came out of is locked up. I don't give a rat's ass about it. Took me years to get over my past and accept what had happened and learn to live with all the reminders of the past that I carry on my body. What I care about is having to deal with yet another one. Even in the end, they ultimately came on top, leaving me with another reminder that past always comes back to hunt you, no matter how hard you try to get away. Thanks to that AITA show, my lawyers were able to send a petition to court to get the alimony lawsuit dismissed, together with a bunch of other things. And the illegal living situation also resolved itself. I have enough evidence to keep my mother behind bars for years to come, and my father is burning in hell. But it brings me nothing but pain, 'cause they won again. They managed to destroy my peace, my confidence. They managed to take away the joy I felt till they showed up, and they left me with a final reminder of them. Comments. Commenter. You won. One of your childhood monsters died knowing that his attempt to torment you had failed. The other is now going to spend much of her life stewing in jail while having watched her husband die. She will die penniless when she gets out. Hope you heal. Commenter. I don't see how they won. One is rotting in hell and the other one is probably never going to talk to you again. The best thing you can do now is heal, and I would recommend to seek therapy so you have someone to talk about these feelings. They can't hurt you anymore. Okay, next story. My spouse cheated on me 28 years ago, and it is still bothering me. I am 51 and my wife is 53. Back when we first got together, before we got married, but we had been living together for a few years by then, we had an argument and she decided to go out with a nymphomaniac girlfriend of hers from work for a night on the town without me. Yes, this girl was a diagnosed nymphomaniac in psychiatric treatment for it. What could go wrong? Since my girlfriend used to vent to her about me, but she never actually met me to see for herself, she had a really negative opinion of me. Her friend said I was too controlling, and I said that everyone looks controlling to a woman who had cheated on every partner she ever had. The truth, including her ex-husband. The idea was they would be home around 10-11 p.m., so at 10 p.m. I called my girlfriend and she told me where they were and that they would be later than expected. At midnight I called again and she answered. She said that they had gone to a bar by the beach and were talking to some really nice guys her friend met there. They had taken her friend's car to get there and left hers at the first location. Red flags. Still, even though I didn't trust her friend at all, I figured my girlfriend was responsible, and I didn't want to be disruptive of her on her girls' night out. I did tell her that she shouldn't be out acting like a single woman with her friend when she was in a relationship, and that her friend needed to be respectful of that. I could hear her friend in the background telling her something derogatory about me calling twice. She said the bar closed at 2 a.m. and they were wrapping things up before then. Sometime after 2 a.m. I called again. No answer. At 4 a.m. I called again. No answer. I really got worried at that point and I started calling frantically, maybe 10, 12 times, I am not sure. No answer. I didn't sleep that night. I wasn't angry as much as worried sick that they had gotten into an accident or I am not sure what. The sun rose and still nothing. Finally, at about 6 a.m., I saw my girlfriend walking up the stairs to our apartment. I was so relieved, but also really, really angry. Why hadn't she called to let me know she was okay? She said that she assumed I would be asleep. I told her I didn't get any sleep at all because I was worried sick. I asked her what happened, and she said she just wanted to go to sleep and I was tired too, so we did. Later that day, I asked her what the hell happened. She said they were talking with the guys, and of course her girlfriend went home with one of them the first chance she got. She left my girlfriend alone with the other guy. Mind you, my girlfriend had no car at this point because her friend had left. She said they talked until the bar closed and then he offered to drive her back to her car. She got into his car and that is when he started to kiss her. She said she was really drunk and she had sex in his car in the parking lot next to the beach, and then they slept there for a couple of hours to sober up before he drove her back to her car. He had wanted to take her to back his apartment, but she refused. Now, from where she was back to our place was about an hour drive, so there is some missing time in there, but it doesn't really matter. Maybe they stopped to get something to eat. Regardless, she admits she slept with him, and it was consensual. She said this because I asked if she had been raped. It turns out she caught an STD from this guy as well, although it was luckily one that could be cured and I never got it. I was so very hurt and betrayed and disappointed that she would do this. She said she never set out to do it, but they had been drinking and she was mad at me and it just happened. She never contacted the guy again. I was furious at her friend too. She could have gotten my girlfriend killed. Thank goodness she realized not long after that that girl was bad news. It took me time, but eventually I got over it because there weren't any emotions involved and it was just a one-time thing. However, she never really asked me to forgive her. Her perspective was that we weren't married yet, and although it was a crappy thing to do, she was within her rights to do it. We argued about that off and on for years, because my take is that when you are living with someone, you don't sleep with someone else. I shouldn't have to explicitly say, "We're not sleeping with other people, right?" And she knew it was wrong. That was the distant past, and I hardly ever think about it. She has been faithful to me since, and we ended up getting married. However, for some reason, I am suddenly having these horrible flashbacks to that time and realizing that she never really apologized to me. It's like a latent trauma that has surfaced for some reason. I want to squash it back down, but I think maybe it is time to deal with it appropriately. I am wondering what others think. Do you suddenly get anxious about the infidelity years later? What do you do about it? I am considering therapy. I'm also wondering if I should tell her, or if that's a bad idea. Every once in a while, I would bring it up to her. The last time was maybe 15 years ago, and it's something she obviously would rather just forget because she wouldn't even discuss it with me when I brought it up. She said I know all there is to know. She still didn't apologize, though. I feel like that's what I am waiting for to really put it past us. Is that reasonable? Update. Thanks for the responses. I think that one reason I have been forgiving is that her friend put her in a really bad situation. I am disappointed that she didn't recognize that, but I also know her judgment was probably impaired by alcohol. Another is that a lot of what happened seems like a date rape to me. She was date raped in the past before she met me, and she flips back and forth about it being consensual or rape. I think there is a lot of shame involved if she admits that it was a rape. I mean, what kind of guy takes advantage of drunk girl like that? A rapist. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.